Good morning. So this will be a lecture about designing for experiences, joys, and value. So I hope you have, all of you have an activity sheet. Does any of you need some more sheets? I don't think so. So the attendance code is there. Please use it before we begin. Otherwise, I will later on go to other slides. And thank you, Matt, for the time. And I think it was really interesting for me to see that how complex you are designing a project, how the project is so complex in terms of design and engineering. And I really wanted to also introduce some more design issues to the subject. I think this is quite, in a way, a very focused lecture on joy, enjoying and doing things that we enjoy. Because I think there could be many different ways of designing. So you could design for profit, you could design for technological advancements, and of course, you can also design for enjoyment. For me, it is quite really also important to slightly tell a bit about my background. So I'm an industrial designer and with a background in product design and management, interaction design and experience design. And through my PhD work, I'm also working on the subjects of philosophy of technology, which I quite like also to think about the learning process as a design. So when I teach, I think I'm designing a learning experience, which makes me a post-industrial designer rather than an industrial designer. And my own research subjects are human technology relations, designing for experiences and futuring, and looking into the futures. And I worked as a product designer, and I had once my own company. And later on, I really think that I enjoy mostly learning, designing the learning experiences, which I do in the last 4 or 5 years. And for me, I think the joy is the motivation, and you do it also while you are doing it. So it is not something that you project for the future. This is why also designing for joy would be quite a useful way of dealing with many problems that production or industrial design really causing. I think it's most of the time quite a personal and situated and relational concept. And it involves people to be pursued and to communicate it and negotiate it through that concept, I think. And for example, if you enjoy a product, you won't really throw it away, and then it makes it also sustainable, for example. So I think it is quite a really key element in the design of products that you design for joy and for enjoyment. So you have the activity sheets, and I will really want you to fill it while I'm going through the whole concepts. There are almost 10 concepts that I really want to mention today, which I think quite useful when you think, when you design products and when you also design systems and also all the backgrounds and the business behind it. So while you are filling the form, you will have a small design brief, which you are designing a pastry service system. I have chosen it because it is quite more simpler than your cargo bike project. So you don't maybe need to spend much time on it, but I think I would like you to fill this form while you are designing a pastry. I have put here some information about pastry. So people are consuming less pastry, but they are spending more. So there are more companies newly established to sell sweets and bread products, but the number of bread and all the pastries are going down. So it is quite a very you need to design a valuable pastry in order to survive in this market environment. This is just a project that you can really apply the methods. So then later on in your own time, you can also apply all the methods to your cargo bike project as well. So please have that in your mind, and you are designing a pastry, and also you will need to design the whole business behind it, and also you will need to do it in a way that people enjoy it and people have the value of it as well. So these are some examples. These are the best bakeries in London, and then you can see what they are selling. It's most of the time they are selling the experience, not the product. And when you ask any industrial designer nowadays, they won't say that I'm designing a product, I'm designing an experience. So I think this is very important also for you when you are designing your projects. It is most of the time the experience behind it. So you try to design the experience of the user. So I really want to begin my presentation with a quote. I think it is also written just on the top of our activity sheets, which comes from Viktor Papanek, who says that there are professions more harmful than industrial design, but only a few. So I think it is not the best or the nicest thing to tell about industrial design, but I think it really shows how much the impact has, how much impact the profession has. It may cause quite a lot of problems. It may cause quite a lot of damage to the environment, and it may also cause quite a lot of inequalities when you are designing products and then just not really considering other aspects of the design. So I always put some more sources here, so you can always click to these links, and then you will go to the to some more information, or you can go to the original book where this was said. It was the Design for the Real World, Human Ecology and Social Change. So there are lots of resources linked on the Miro board. You can use the QR code here to access it, but also the Miro board is also linked in the Canvas. So first, I would like you to think about how you would design the definition, how you define design, because it really affects how you design things. So just have maybe 30 seconds to just write your own design definition. If you haven't thought about it till now, it will be a good time how you would define design. And just write it in this box here. Ah, yes, of course. Anyone who has that yes. So this is the attendance code. This one. Yeah. So I hope you had written your definition. I think will be a guide when you are designing things. So probably in a group, you should have a shared definition of design. I quite like the definition of Herbert Simon, which says, I will just make it larger. which says everyone designs who devises courses of action aimed at changing existing situation into preferred ones. I think this is a very general definition of design, which you can apply into many different fields. And but I think it's really quite important that you have your own definition of design. And my definition was improving everyday life with technology that enrich people's experiences. So it is always a guide that will make you a different designer than the other people. So the next step is about, I have also linked here quite a lot of other design companies, and each company, they have always a definition of their design or definition of their process. For example, we can go to the Frog Design, which is quite a really famous product design company that has some examples here, and they will have always own definition of their process and own definition of how they design things. So just look to them as well. So the next point in the activity sheet is the principles of good design. And maybe some of you have heard Dieter Rams, who is a German designer, and he has a list of what he thinks good design should be. So we can just look to that. And for him, good design is innovative, makes useful products, is aesthetic, and so on. So he has 10 points, which things, and he compares when he designs things, if it is a good design or not. So maybe just for you, try to come up with 5 principles you think that it makes a good design. So let's have maybe another 30 seconds for that. I hope you have come up with a few items. As I was saying that if you can't fill it completely, it is not a problem. I will just go on, but I really like that you will use the activity sheet for your own projects. So my own principles were the following ones. It should be joyful, it should be engaging, it should be for everyone, and it should tell a never-ending story about something. So you are enjoying the product for a long time, and then you are not really throwing it away. It is something that you enjoy and find useful. Another designer that I want to mention at this point is Thomas Hedervig. I think maybe some of you know that he is the designer of the updated version of the London double-decker bus, but he has a book called Humanize, and he tells in that book that many problems we have nowadays because of the environmental crisis, it is about that we have designed very boring things, and he is making his point with the modernist design and modernist buildings, and he's also saying that the modernists are the gods of boring, and they are causing all the problems that we need to always demolish the buildings and then remake them because people don't really like them. So if we try to design enjoyable products that people like, they won't throw it away, and then it is a very sustainable way of developing things. And this is quite a really nice book, and if you find it, I would suggest that you just go through it. It is quite thick, but there are many pictures of it. So the next point in our activity sheet is the value. So I have also linked where it's before that, it's the artifacts, machines, and products. So it will be this part. So there are different ways of defining products. There are objects, and there are products, and there are also gizmos. And I really like the quotation from Bruce Sterling, which is who is a science fiction author, and here very nicely compares different types of how we can tell or different types of objects, and he differentiates between artifacts, machines, products, and gizmos. And for an artifact, you are designing it for an hunter or farmer. A machine, you are designing it for a customer. A product, you are designing it for a consumer. And nowadays, we are designing gizmos, which are, we are designing it for the end users. So I will just read a few of the examples. So by artifacts, I mean simple artificial objects made by hand, used by hand, and powered by muscle. Artifacts are created one at a time, locally by rules of thumb and folklore, rather than through any abstract understanding of the principles of mechanics. People within an infrastructure of artifacts are hunters and farmers. By machines, I mean complex, precisely proportioned artifacts with many integral moving parts that have tapped some non-human, non-animal power source. Machines require specialized support structures for engineering skills, distribution, and finance. People within an infrastructure of machines are customers. And when we go to the products, by products, I mean widely distributed commercial available objects, anonymously and uniformly manufactured in massive quantities using a planned division of labor, rapid, non-artisanal assembly line techniques operating over continental economies of scale, and supported by highly reliable transportation, finance, and information system. People within an infrastructure of products are consumers. And what we mean by gizmos, it is in a different book. So gizmo is a better, more truthful term than machine because gizmo is a small, fetish, busy machine with brief lifespan. Some gizmos are blobjects, most blobjects are gizmos. When you buy a cool new blobject gizmo, you are at the hot-wired cutting edge, you are living large. The 19th century made machinery, the 20th century made products, but the 21st century makes gizmos. In a product, form follows function. For a gizmo, the function is the decoration. A gizmo is neither a machine, not a product. It doesn't want you to accomplish any task in particular. It wants a relationship. It wants to be intimate, to be an intimate experience as close to you as your eyebrow. I think nowadays, when you think about your smartphones or other objects that you have very connected with the internet, it is really, they are gizmos. They are not done for the functions, they are produced for the relations that you have for them. And this is a quotation from this book. And when you click to the corner of this icons, you will go to the book as well. So you should really need to understand, for example, for the pastry project that we are doing very quickly, are you designing it for hunters and farmers? Are you designing it for customers, consumers, or are you designing it for the end users? So you can have all of them because we still have people who hunt and who do some, who are farmers. And we still have people who think when they buy things, they are the customers. And most of us are users of a device. So you can think which type of a human you would like to choose for your products. Maybe you have 20 seconds for that. Just think for your pastry project, who will be going to eat or buy these products. So in my case, it was, I have put consumers and the end users. So this would be the right end of the scale. It is for people who are living in cities and who don't have much time buying and eating things. So this would be the target group of my project. So the next section is about the value. It is quite important to understand what kind of a value does the object you are designing has. So Jean Baudrillard differentiates between 4 different values. So one of them is the use value. It is also in our activity sheets. The other one is the exchange value. Then there is the sign value and symbolic value. I think it's quite important when you are designing products to understand how people really give value to your design. So the use value is if your design is very useful. So I think then people are quite happy about it. So they are accomplishing a task with your product. But there is also another value, which is the exchange value, which may cause quite a lot of differences because sometimes the product doesn't work very well, but it's quite valuable. I think the example is I have given here 2 different lemon squeezers, which this one costs £6 and this costs £80. So the exchange value is quite high. So the price is actually the exchange value. So you can exchange it with a higher price. The sign and symbolic values are a bit more difficult. The sign value is the sign that really gives the object to you. For example, if you possess a lemon squeezer like this, probably you are showing people that I know about design and I care about the objects that I buy and I can afford a £80 lemon squeezer. So it is a sign that you tell to the people that you are rich, you know the design culture or you know the designer of it. So these are the signs that are related with the object, and this gives it also another value than just the function of it. And the last, the symbolic value would be that if your grandmother would give you as a gift one of the objects, then it is valuable for you because it is related to someone and it was a gift or you acquired the object in a certain time. So this is also another value that a product may have. I also added the speculative value because sometimes you buy things and then you think that after 20 years, it will be more valuable than you have bought it in the first day. So there are these at least 5 different values that is related with the products that you are designing. So just think maybe for 30 seconds how you are going to design the value of your pastry. Is it just about the use, like the taste? Is it more about the sign value that people say that, oh, I have bought this pastry, so I'm someone who really knows about the quality of this pastry? So just think about the different values and just maybe write a few things. So my use value was the taste and the attractive look of it. The exchange value is that it makes you full. And the speculative value, you would like to be the first person to eat that pastry. And the sign value, that it shows you how good you are choosing from all different pastries. And the symbolic value would be that maybe the pastry is in a way that you can share it with someone. So it is always an experience that you think that I bought this to be shared. So I have still linked the books, the original books here, and there is also a canvas that really makes you understand more about how values are created in terms of products and objects. So the next part of our activity sheet is the framework of the product experience, which I think it's the most maybe useful part of the whole activity. So how experiences are being designed. So everything that we design, the products, the services, and any other thing, we can divide it into three experiences. One is the aesthetic experience, which is everything that you can experience through your sensory qualities, like the look of it, the tactile finishes, and the shape of the thing. So everything that you can see, feel through your senses. This is part of the aesthetic experience. And there is also the part of the emotional experience. So there could be some products that makes you happy when you see them, or it makes you really remind to something that you had with that product. So it is your emotional connection with the product. And the third part is the experience of meanings. This is a bit more in terms of, it is more related to the culture. So for example, in different cultures, different shapes and colors may have different meanings. So this is also quite really important when you are designing objects. So you have the aesthetic value, aesthetic qualities of the object, which is everything that you can see, touch, or feel. And then you have your own personal relation with the object, which is the emotional experience. And then you have your cultural relation with the object, which is the experience of meanings. So when you are designing things, you need to consider that people will be experiencing your objects in these three different layers. So maybe spend another 30 seconds to think about your pastry project and just write how you are dealing with the aesthetic experiences and emotional experiences and experiences of meaning.
So you mentioned the reasons of aesthetic experiences, experiences of meaning,
Emotional experience. So for my design, I was writing that the aesthetic experience is dealt with a very parametric and complex design. So I would like to have my pastry have a very complex shape. In terms of the emotional experience, I would like to design a sweet and healthy product which will respond to the emotional experience of the user. And in terms of the experience of meanings, I would like to use fruits and colorful ingredients which will make people relate that it's something enjoyable that they can consume. And so the next point is designing for happiness, which is another framework that I borrow from Hassan Sal and his friends. I think he's coming from a psychological a background of psychology, and for him there are six different reasons why we are happy. One of them is autonomy. If we are feeling that our cause of actions are caused because of ourselves, so it is not externally forced, then we are feeling happy about it. We can be happy about being competent, feeling that we are capable of and effective doing something. We are also happy about being related, so we are in a group of people. And popularity is another reason that makes us happy, that it is that others are like us and they respect us and we have influence on them. We are happy when we are stimulated. So if something that we are doing is very easy, it doesn't make us stimulated. So I think it should be something quite a bit challenging. And the security, feeling safe and in control of our lives make us happy. So these are 6 keywords that we can always use to design our products. So it makes people happy when they are using them. I have also linked the paper here, so you can also read it later on in a more detail. So you may use some of them, you may not really need to use all of the, I think it's very difficult to design something that really covers all 6 aspects. Just think about for 30 seconds how your pastry would make people happy according to these 6 criteria. For my own pastry, in terms of autonomy, I was asking people to really select the different fruits for their own pastry. So for the competence, I was thinking that I should focus on something that is easy to eat, because it could be very difficult sometimes when you have many things in your hand and then all the pastries are very sticky and etc. So whatever I'm designing, it should be easy to eat. I haven't found anything for relatedness, and for popularity, I had the idea that it should be something that is easy to share with others, so it's eating with other friends. I didn't have anything for the stimulation, and security is that I trust the ingredients of the pastry. So I was looking into, I was fulfilling at least 4 different points of the designing for happiness framework. So the next point is the order of design. Whatever we are designing, we are also designing the different orders as well. So Richard Buchanan, he tells us that there are different orders of design. So this is what he is proposing. So there are symbols, there are things, there are actions, and there are thoughts. So graphic design deals with symbols to the things, and industrial design deals with things. And if we think about the actions, interaction design deals with the actions. And probably nowadays we are calling this service design. So we are also thinking about the thoughts. And I would also like to add, I have also added in my own activity sheet the mindset. So we are also, if we call it like systemic design, we are also thinking about how we can change people's mindset as well. So for example, you are designing a pastry, but still you need to also design the package of it. You still need to design the logo of it, and you will still need to design how this object is going to be sold. And you should really design who are going to really buy the object, and then how they will experience the whole object, and then how they really will change and evolve through consuming your object or consuming your product. So just write down what kind of things you need to design in order to be able to design or sell your pastry. So just write what kind of symbols, graphics, what kind of things, actions, experience, and what kind of mindsets you need to design for. Maybe I will give also again 30 seconds for this. So whatever I have written for the symbols, it is the packaging, the branding, and the interior of the space. The things are the pastry itself, the package, the furniture. The actions is the making process, the purchase process, and the selling process. The experiences is that it should be appealing to people, and it should be also tasting very well. And the mindsets would be that I'm designing for people who are thinking in terms of their health, and they want to have some extraordinary objects. And so we go on with the next part, which is about the service design thinking and the customer journey map. So whatever we are designing in a system of it. So I have also added here some resources of that. So as service designers, we call it the touch point. So the pastry itself is one touch point. The graphics, the posters, they are also another touch point. And the branding is also another touch point. The interior of the bakery is also another touch point. So if you are designing a product, you need to also design all the other things, or at least you should be considering all the other things that they are around. So you may not be able to change everything, but you should be aware that the product itself doesn't really work on its own. And in this customer journey map, you can use it just writing different touch points. So there are just 3 here, but it may be that you have more touch points. And before you consume, there are actions that you do, and there are actions that you do during the consumption, and then after the consumption. And I will just show you what I have done, because this is a bit more complex part of it, but I think it's very easy when you have understood all the I think this is quite big. So this is my actually sheet that I have filled. So for me, for the pastry, the social media was one touch point. The shop itself was a different touch point, and the pastry itself was a different touch point. And then it's quite important that you are aware of the feelings of the person who is consuming your product. At some point when he or she is ordering things, it may be that it's a bit difficult, but when you are maybe eating the object, you are very happy. And then afterwards, when you are sharing your experience with your friends, you are also happy again. So it's quite important that you have a journey of your product that people will be using. So there will be different touch points of your product, and there will be also different feelings related to it. So I think this is also another quite really important model that I want to show you. Have you maybe in different courses, you may also come across with this business model generation canvas. I think if you have your value propositions in the center, you need to consider the user. You need to consider how you are reaching the user. And if things are not good for the user, how they will reach you. And besides the value, you need to also think about which kind of partners do you need to fulfill it. What kind of activities are you doing for your own product, and what kind of resources do you have? And it's also quite important what your costs are and how you gain revenues. So in my case, I will be just showing it to you. In my case, I was focusing on urban dwellers, and it should be easy to consume, and it should be focused on fruits, and it should be easy to share with others. My user group is the people who are living in urban area, who needs to have maybe each week a different taste in their pastry. And then they are finding me through the bakery shop. And if something happens and they want to give me some feedback, they can really reach me through the social media. And the bakery and the packaging companies, they will be like my partners. Baking and selling are my core activities. And my core resources are the stuff and baking equipment. My costs are the ingredients and the stuff, and how I can gain money is through selling the bakery and maybe some collaborations and organizing some events. And lastly, it is quite important that in which motivation you are designing things. So sometimes you are designing to just conform whatever exists in the world. And sometimes you design things for reforming things. And very rarely people design also things to contest things, so which we call critical design. And it's quite important to have this A and B table that we are designing for attractiveness, taste, and sharing and fruit for my example. we should also really think about the opposite of it. So what we would be not doing, it is like the discuss and consciousness, and maybe instead of sharing, we are giving, and instead of fruits, maybe it is like some vegetables. I have also linked some more details here about the business model canvas if you are interested in that, and also speculative design and critical design, which is really reforming and contesting things. I think I have almost used all my time, and if you are finishing the activity sheet, I know it is very quick, but please upload it to the canvas and maybe give me some feedback using this poll. And I'm very interested it's how you are using the activity sheet and if you have found it useful. And so it will be quite important for me to give me some of your activity sheets. You can have another a week to do that, so you don't need to give it just now, but I'm very keen to see how you are using all the concepts that I have brought to you. And thank you a lot, Matt, for your invitation.